Well, first I want to send greetings to all my friends in Kurdistan. Welcome, hello from Duluth, where I'm here sending these words to you at the opening of the mosque in Basta. So a big congratulations, Piroz Beit, for opening of the mosque, and I hope that it brings life back into the village. So I wanted to share a little bit with you about why I did this and why I got involved with this, because I know many of you know me, if some of you don't, and I'm sure it's a big mystery why this person from the United States would want to be involved with such a thing. So I thought I would explain that, and hope that you can accept this as a gesture of friendship, and hope that we might continue our relationship as sisters and brothers in this world together. So first I want to say that many of you know that I worked with Human Rights Group in Kurdistan. Our team, CPT, is based in Suleimania, and when our primary work was with the villagers that were bombed out of their villages in the Pishtar region, and they were living in the Bastanson tent camp. And that's where I began to know and learn about who the villagers were. And during that time of doing interviews and trying to understand the situation there so that we could present it to the United Nations, I began to become friends with many people in the villages, and I heard many different stories. And I remember this one particular story that stayed with me for a long time. We asked the woman what was her life like in the village, what was daily life like in the village. And she told us that her family would get up early in the morning, and they would go into the fields, and they would take the animals out and graze them. They would do the work in the fields with the crops, and at noon the call to prayer would come, and they would all stop and they would pray, and then they would eat together, and they would go back out into the fields later on in the day after the hot part of the day had passed. And as she was telling me the story, she was crying and wanted to go home so bad, and everyone was stuck in this terrible tent camp, and families were split up, and she was crying, and I really wanted to be able to see a way that she could go back home, but I didn't know what that way was, and that was kind of beyond what I could do. So time continued to go on, and I met and became friends with other people. And one person who I became very good friends with, and he is my brother, is Bapir, and he's from the village of Basta, and I'm sure he's there right now at this opening. And so I want to say a special hello to my brother Bapir. In the time that I got to know him and talk with him, he told me many stories about things that he had to do, terrible things, hard things that he had to do during the Anfal campaign, and after the uprising, when people were fleeing across the border, and the borders were closed, and he met a whole family along the way that was trying to get to Iran, and he literally carried this family across into the border to get to their family, to meet their family. To this day, he says they still stay in touch with him. And while he was in Iran, he met a woman in a hospital who needed to have a leg amputated, and she was very afraid. And a doctor came to him and said, "Please, can you talk to her and try to get her to agree to having her leg amputated?" And finally, after he talked with her, he agreed to take her leg back to her village so that it could be buried in her grave with the rest of her body, as is custom in the Muslim tradition. And so he carried her leg back all the way from Iran back into her village somewhere in Iraqi Kurdistan. To me, this man had the integrity and the heart of a saint. to do such things. And I see how he was with the people of his village and the people in the other surrounding villages. He tried to help hold them together through this terrible time of being bombed out and in this tent camp. The whole time it seemed that the villages were dying. Families weren't returning home. And from what I understand, Basta was a village of 50 families, and it had gone down to 5 families and was about to die if life didn't come back. Bapir told me that his father, who was very well respected in the area as a spiritual man, told him that he should build a mosque and that might bring life back to the village. When Bapir told me this, I thought, wow, how could I help with this? Can I help with this? Because it seemed that mostly what people needed was somebody to say, I believe in you. And that's basically what I did. I mean, I donated some money towards this. It wasn't a big thing. The money wasn't a big thing. Mostly what I wanted to do was to concretely say, I believe in you. I believe in the importance of your life, in the value of your life, of your lives. I believe in the villagers. I believe in the village. I believe in the relationship the villages have to God, and that relationship that spreads out to all the communities surrounding them. We need you, and that's why I participated in building this mosque. So it's with that friendship, with that hope that you'll continue, because with you continuing, we continue as well. We're united, we're one. And so I hope that your very rich and wonderful lives will continue on, and the world will be a better place for that. So again, I love you very much. I miss you all. I hope to see you again soon, and I hope that the mosque will bring much good life into that area, into the village and into that area. So, zor spas.